Representative Talarico, congratulations on your candidacy. Let's start with the basics here. There's already a high-profile Democrat in this race. Texas remains a solid red state here. Where do you see a path to victory?
Well, I first got elected to the state house by flipping a district that no one thought was winnable. I was an underdog in that race, and I'm an underdog in this race, both in the primary and the general. And honestly, I love being the underdog because it means there's an opportunity to try different things and to break outside the mold and to speak truth to power, both in my party and when it comes to the other party. And so I'm looking forward to running this underdog campaign. And my life has shown me, whether it was as a middle school teacher on the west side of San Antonio or as the son of a single mom, you should always bet on the underdogs. And so that's the kind of ethos that I'm bringing to this campaign.
There's been a lot of speculation about your political future. Why did you decide Senate? Why not governor? Or
Well,
was it
I
was that ever
firmly
was that ever even in the cards?
Well, I believe that all 30 million Texans deserve a senator who's actually going to represent their interests and not the interests of billionaire mega donors. And the two opponents I have in the other party, Ken Paxton and John Cornyn, have repeatedly sold us out in this state for their donors. They have gutted our health care, they've defunded our schools, they have taken food out of the mouths of hungry Texas children, all to give tax cuts and enrich their billionaire mega donors. And I want to take the fight against corruption that I've been waging in Austin at the state capitol. I want to take that fight to the national capitol because our country is in trouble, and that's where the fight is going forward.
You first have to win the you first have to win the Democratic primary, and you'll be up against former Congressman Colin Allred. You haven't focused on him in the early hours of your race. You're talking more about billionaires, but what should voters expect? Is this going to be a dirty campaign between you two?
No, I don't think so. I'm committed to running a positive campaign about my vision for the future, my values, and how we can change this corrupt political system that's hurting all of us, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. And I like Colin Allred a whole lot. I know you're probably not supposed to start political campaigns by saying you like your opponent, but I do. I respect Congressman Allred tremendously, and I think he would be a great U.S. senator and certainly much better than Ken Paxton or John Cornyn. So I'm not interested in tearing down my fellow Democrats. I'm interested in putting a case forward to the people of this state and sharing my experiences, my skills, my values, my vision, and why I think I would be best as the senator from Texas.
You immediately attacked billionaires' influence in politics, which is really outsized. Are you running as a progressive alternative to Allred, or where would you say you line up?
I started my launch video by saying that I no longer see politics as left versus right. I see it as top versus bottom. I think a lot of the billionaires who control our government, who control our media, who control our economy, they have a vested interest in keeping us all divided. They do it regularly with their social media algorithms that they control. They do it on the cable news networks that they control. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion to keep us from realizing that they are defunding our schools, gutting our healthcare, and cutting taxes for themselves while they raise taxes on working people in this state. And so we've got to resist the divisions that have been placed upon us by the people at the top. We've got to come together, realize that there is far more that unites us than divides us, and take power back for working people in this state.
Considering your criticism of billionaires in politics, will you refuse corporate PAC money to fund your campaign?
Yes, I'm the only member of the Texas legislature who doesn't accept a dime of corporate PAC money, and I will be continuing that policy in the Senate campaign. It's not easy. As a state rep, I've literally had to send checks back to Walmart and Chevron and AT&T um, because I believe that many of those corporate PACs have way too much influence in our politics. Not that I won't sit down with them, not that I won't listen to something they have to say, because business has obviously a role to play in our community, and I'm a pro-business candidate. But they have way too much influence in our politics. They deserve a seat at the table, but they don't deserve every seat at the table. And so it's why I've put that ban in place in my office. It's why I put this ban in place in my Senate campaign. But that also means that I'm going to have to rely on the people to fund this effort. And I hope that people across the state, regardless of their political affiliations, will join this campaign, be a part of this movement to take power back for the people of Texas.
What's this race going to cost?
Way too much money. There is way too much money in our politics. Unfortunately, that's the system we have right now. I've put
Yeah.
forward bills that could limit the amount of money in our politics. I put forward a bill last session to cap campaign contributions in Texas, which hasn't happened before. I've put forward new ethics requirements, new transparency requirements, but those bills haven't passed. So we have a corrupt system that we're going to try to work within so that we can hopefully transform it if we win this election. That's what I'm hoping to do through this campaign.
John's Cornyn campaign said the following about you. Quote, Talarico said, quote, God is non-binary. He claims to hate billionaires, but celebrated meeting with George Soros. Talarico will find that Texans are not interested in his brand of abortion on demand, open borders, anti-Texas politics. What's your reaction to that?
Well, a few things. I've never met with George Soros, never met him, don't know him. And I've criticized the billionaires in my own party, and I have tried to limit their influence in my party. So this is not a partisan thing. This is a power thing. And we've got to take on those billionaire mega donors in both political parties. And I would also say that John Cornyn should be atoning for being the deciding vote on the big ugly bill just a few months ago. But corruption is really just the betrayal of the public trust. It is the abuse of your public office. And John Cornyn's deciding vote on that big ugly bill is corruption at the highest level.